Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your attention, please? At this time, could you join me in welcoming His Excellency, Dr. Tan See Leng, Minister of Manpower and Minister in charge of Energy and Science and Technology, Ministry of Trade and Industry. Okay. Okay, at this time, can we please join me in welcoming His Excellency, Dr. Tan See Leng, Minister of Manpower and Minister in charge of Energy, Science and Technology, Ministry of Trade and Industry. Let's give him a big round of applause. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, a very warm welcome to the Singapore International Renewable Energy and Agency High Level Forum, or shall I say Singapore IRENA High Level Forum. My name is Alan Wu, and it is my pleasure to be your MC this afternoon. Hope you've had a wonderful day thus far. The theme for this forum is Partnerships for an Interconnected and Renewable Tomorrow. The forum will explore discussions on unlocking investment potential, enabling cross-border energy trading, and building future-ready energy systems. And now, to kickstart the program, may we invite on stage His Excellency, Dr. Tan See Leng, Minister for Manpower and Minister in charge of Energy and Science and Technology, Ministry for Trade and Industry, Singapore, to deliver his welcome remarks. Let's welcome him.
Honorable Ministers and Excellencies, waiting for him to take a seat first. Mr. Francesco La Camara, most important guest here, Director General of the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 5th Singapore IRENA High Level Forum. And I want to take this opportunity to sincerely thank my friend, Director General La Camara, and IRENA for your commitment to the Singapore International Energy Week. We're delighted to host this forum with IRENA and the Sustainable Energy Association of Singapore, or SEAS. Actually, we have another very distinguished guest here today who's going to give a keynote lecture, and that is none other than Bapak Luhut. Perhaps we could give him a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, we live in very interesting, very exciting times. But for energy transition, they are indeed worrying times. The global climate ambition appears somewhat to be wavering. And the COP28 goal of tripling renewables by 2030 seems now like a long shot. But I don't believe that all is gloom and doom. In fact, IRENA's data shows that over 500 gigawatts of new renewables capacity was installed globally just alone last year in 2024. This was a historic high, and it showed a 15% year-on-year increase in new capacity being installed. This growth underscores the ongoing global shift towards cleaner energy sources. There is similarly tremendous potential within Southeast Asia to green our grids. Our region possesses abundant natural resources, be it in the form of solar, wind, geothermal, or hydropower. Earlier this month, ASEAN energy ministers endorsed the ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation for 2026 to 2030. The plan sets very clear and ambitious 2030 targets for ASEAN. First, for renewable energy to meet 30% of our energy needs. Second, for renewable energy to make up 45% of installed power capacity. I mean, of course, one begs the question, are they achievable? ASEAN requires an estimated 6 to 7 trillion US dollars in investments by 2050 to achieve decarbonization across our transport, our power, our buildings, and industry sectors. Now, this staggering figure underscores the magnitude of the challenge we face today. No single government can shoulder this alone. To make renewables bankable, we must build on the willingness and build up the willingness to pay for renewable energy, whether it is through carbon pricing to reflect the real costs of emissions or by bringing down the cost of renewable energy for it to be able to outcompete coal and gas. At the same time, we need to close the financing gap by mobilizing both public and private capital for the energy transition. Projects must also be underpinned by credible policy frameworks, stable regulations, and regional cooperation that can give investors and off-takers the confidence to commit for the long term. Singapore is committed to doing its part. Over the past few years, we have worked with our neighbors tirelessly to catalyze new projects for cross-border electricity trading. When realized, these projects will create a new renewable energy capacity that might otherwise not be built. This capacity can be used for both domestic supply as well as cross-border trading. And such projects will create new jobs, generate knock-on investments, and yield new sources of tax revenue. At the regional level, Singapore has worked with our partners in ASEAN on the signing of the enhanced ASEAN Power Grid MOU, as well as the endorsement of the terms of reference for an ASEAN subsea power cable development framework. Both of these milestones were reached under Malaysia's able chairmanship of ASEAN, and Singapore will work tirelessly to co-create the regulatory frameworks for cross-border electricity trade to provide clarity to private sector investors and kickstart development. There remains much work still to be done, and we must work with partners such as IRENA, who will bring invaluable thought, leadership, expertise, and guidance to our region. And I'm heartened by IRENA's unveiling of the Accelerated Partnership for Renewable Energy in Southeast Asia, or APRESA, at today's forum. We warmly welcome this initiative, and we hope that APRESA can address some of the key challenges in our regional energy system, and particularly on the topics of cross-border electricity trade, renewable energy project financing, as well as grid modernization. Together with our fellow ASEAN members, Singapore looks forward to working closely with IRENA to further develop APRESA in ways to achieve the region's renewable energy targets, ensuring that it is practical and it directly addresses the region's priorities and needs. In conclusion, our journey towards a secure, towards an affordable and sustainable energy future is a marathon. It's not a short sprint. Although Singapore may be small, but we are committed to playing our part alongside partners like IRENA through the new APRESA initiative. I hope this forum will generate new ideas. It will strengthen our cooperation in this exciting new chapter for the ASEAN-IRENA collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. Could I have you stay on stage to take a group photo with everyone here to commemorate the unveiling of the Accelerated Partnership for Renewable Energy in Southeast Asia, APRESA. So at this time, may we invite the following guests to join us on stage for the group photo. First, could you please help me welcome Mr. Francisco La Camara, Director General, International Renewable Energy Agency. And of course, our ministers from Southeast Asia. Can you please make your way up on stage now too for a group photo? And of course, also the ambassadors from Southeast Asia and the ASEAN Center for Energy to the stage. They all gather. Very, very exciting times here as we commemorate the unveiling of APRESA. Let's get them all lined up here. Get our photographers, get our cameras out. All right, I see they're already flashing away. Let's give a big smile to them. 3, 2, 1, smile. APRESA. Get it all? All right, thank you very much, Excellencies. Thank you all very, very much. You may now take your seats. Thank you.